It's time. Big changes needed for Social Security. Now, in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest numbers that have come out from the CBO, from the Social Security Administration, and you're going to be seeing the outlays and the revenues, the shortfall that is going to be hitting by the year 2033, and that is why reform is needed right now, and that is why we're hearing 2023 is the year of Social Security reform. Now, in addition to that, the increases, the raises to benefits across the board of $200 per month or $2,400 per year in the Social Security Expansion Act. I'm going to be discussing that along with all the numbers, the projections, so you can see the latest. And again, this is across the board for everybody on Social Security. So if you collect any form of these benefits, SSI, SSDI, retirement, veterans benefits, any of these fixed income benefits from the Social Security Administration, you're going to want to see the numbers and stick around for this video to get all the latest details. Now, in addition to that, I've been letting people know that there are still tons, literally billions of leftover funds for Americans on Social Security, they're saying, that missed out on filing their taxes and missed out on stimulus provisions in the form of stimulus checks, EITCs, and assortment of different provisions that could equate to over $7,000 in some cases. So if you missed those stimulus provisions, you're going to want to stick around to the end. I'm going to get you some more details as there is a limited amount of time to claim those missed benefits that could help out you and your family. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. And before we do me a quick favor. Smash the like button if you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to speed on everything going on. Just takes a second. Thank you so much. Hit subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? Come join the Ram fam. And with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. All right, so as always, link in the description below to this article that has come out. And I always cite the sources so that way you can read them for yourself. I put them on the screen and read right from them. Now, this one talks about the Biden and the Trump plan, which they're saying is to do nothing. As it says, please consider the Biden-Trump plan to cut Social Security. They're saying to do nothing is actually the form of cuts that will be coming. As you saw with that chart, that if we do not do something within the next 10 years, there will not be enough benefits to pay out to beneficiaries, which means that there will be cuts across the board. We've heard from 20 to 25%. They're now saying roughly 23%, which means if you collect $1,000 per month from the Social Security Administration, you'll start getting checks of around $750, maybe $800. And when you say, hey, what happened to my check? They'll say, sorry, this is happening to everybody. We simply do not have enough money to pay out full benefits to everybody across the board. So that is what is in store if they do not reform Social Security. And that is why we're seeing all of these bills coming out proposing to modify everything and also to try to enhance the benefits so that way people get more and not less. Now, here's some quotes. Joe Biden said, I guarantee you I will protect Social Security and Medicare without any changes. Guaranteed, the president said in March. And as we mentioned, protecting Medicare and not changing it, as a result, in 10 years, there will be cuts. So there are changes that do need to be made. Donald Trump said, I will do everything within my power not to touch Social Security, to leave it the way that it is. While Trump promised not to touch Social Security, Biden said that he would protect Social Security without any change. Biden's guarantee is impossible by existing law. The pledge to not change a thing means automatic benefit cuts starting in the year 2033, according to the Bipartisan Congressional Budget Office, or the CBO. And they're saying, yes, something has to be done. We cannot leave it the way it is, or there will be cuts. And I covered this for you recently as we got Biden's 4-point plan. And one of the things that was not in there was the fact that they did not address the solvency issue. And so they're saying if they do not make modifications to extend out the solvency, well, there are going to be cuts. And so this would be inadvertent cuts as a result of lack of doing something for Social Security. Social Security funding problems. The Heritage Organization discusses benefit cuts of 23%, and 4 other things to know about the government's new Social Security projections. So here's the latest projections. First, Social Security has a spending problem. Social Security started out as a 2% tax, and the program promised to never take more than 6% of workers' paychecks. Today, it's 12.4%, and even that falls short of the program's ever-rising costs. The CBO projects that Social Security's costs will increase by 42% over the course of the next 75 years as its revenues remain stable. Protecting Social Security requires reining in its excessive cost growth. Next, Inaction means benefit cuts of 23% beginning in the year 2033. Current law requires that Social Security benefits come from within the program. So once the trust fund runs dry, Social Security will only be able to pay out as much benefits as it receives in taxes. That will mean that a roughly $5,000 cut in annual benefits for a typical retiree and about $4,000 less for the average disability beneficiary. No one, not even 98-year-olds, will be exempt from these cuts. They will take place to everybody. Next, anyone who is 56 years of age or younger today, they will not receive full benefits if something is not done. Anyone who is 56 years or younger today will not reach Social Security's normal retirement age of 67 before the program runs out of money. And anyone who is currently between the ages of 57 and 107 today who is still alive and collecting benefits in 2033 will also be subject to benefit cuts. So just to clarify, nobody is going to be saved from the cuts that will take place if something is not done for Social Security. Younger workers have the most to lose. If policymakers fail to act and benefit cuts begin in 2033, the CBO estimates that people born in the 1960s will experience a 19% reduction in lifetime benefits. Those born in the 1970s will experience a 26% reduction. Those born in the 1980s and the 1990s will experience a 27% reduction. Research from the Heritage Foundation shows that Social Security is an especially raw deal for younger workers who have to put their money into a broken system instead of into a savings account that would generate positive returns. The average worker could have 3 times as much retirement income if they had been able to own and invest their Social Security taxes, and even the lowest income workers could have 40% more. Also, preventing insolvency through tax increases would require a 17.3% payroll tax. And I mentioned this several times here on the channel. We've gone over the numbers that have been released by the Social Security Administration, the CBO, and a lot of these bills. They need to propose higher taxes if they're going to extend the solvency. And I know that's not what anybody wants to hear that's out there working, but according to the numbers, there needs to be some massive tax increases to realistically extend the solvency, or they're going to have to create an entirely new system because as it is right now, taxes must increase. The CBO says that maintaining Social Security's scheduled benefits for the next 75 years would require an immediate increase to Social Security's payroll tax from 12.4% to 17.3%. This would mean $12,250 in Social Security taxes for the median household that has about $71,000 of income. Adding in Medicare and federal and state income taxes would bring the median household margin tax rate to about 48%. Now, keep in mind the fact that this is also to maintain the current benefits that are going out. That does not include if we also tag on an extra $200 per month to all beneficiaries. It means the taxes would need to go even higher. And that increases what is currently proposed in the Social Security Expansion Act. $33.8 trillion in taxes. Biden cannot up payroll taxes without breaking his pledge to not hike taxes on anyone making less than $400,000 a year. Nonetheless, Democrats concocted a $33.8 trillion tax scheme called the Social Security Expansion Act. New or increased benefits. Number 1, a large and permanent benefit increase for all Social Security recipients beginning in the year 2024. Number 2, applications of a narrow inflation measure that results in larger cost of living adjustments or COLAs. Number 3, an increase in the special minimum benefit. And number 4, continuation of children's benefits through age 22 instead of the current age 18, which sounds good for a lot of recipients. However, again, how will we fund this? And there needs to be modifications to taxation. So here's the new taxes. Number 1, raising and then eliminating Social Security's payroll tax cap. Currently, Social Security's 12.4% tax rate applies to the first $160,200 of a worker's earnings. The Social Security Expansion Act would add the Social Security's 12.4% tax to all earnings above $250,000 without any increase in benefits for newly taxed earnings. So they're going to be taxing anybody on anything they make over that amount, but they do not get any more additional benefits when it's time for them to withdraw. A new 12.4% investment surtax. The Expansion Act would add 12.4% surtax to investment income on individuals making over $200,000 and married couples making over $250,000, in addition to the current 3.8% Obamacare surtax and the top 20% marginal tax rate. This would raise the top rate on long-term dividends and capital gains from 23.8% 30.8% to 36.2%, and the top federal rate on interest income and short-term capital gains from 40.8% to 53.2%. Combined with state and local capital gains tax rates, the top rate would reach 68%. Wow. And number 3, a new 16.2% tax on small business owners, currently S corporations, limited partnerships, and other businesses that file taxes as pass-through entities, which pay taxes at an individual level and not at a corporate level, are subject to these Social Security, Medicare, and Obamacare taxes only on the salaries and certain compensations paid to employees or owners, and only up to the current taxable max for Social Security, but not on owners' shares of the active business income, which carries more inherent risk. The Social Security Expansion Act would impose a new 16.2% net investment income surtax on all such entrepreneurial profits of these business owners above $200,000 for individuals and $250,000 for married couples. Now, this is the bill that's sponsored by Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, and Jan Schakowsky, and Van Hoyle as well. So this is the one, but there are some massive tax increases to make this possible. Now, the Social Security Expansion Act is only a fraction of the progressive agenda. The Social Security Expansion Act's $33.8 trillion in tax hikes over the next 75 years would only cover a small portion of the progressive socialist agenda, providing other things like Medicare for all, free college, and universal basic income. And the new Green Deal would cost roughly $50 trillion to $90 trillion over the course of the next 10 years. So this is massive amounts of proposed spending, and they're saying that they're going to increase benefits to beneficiaries, but the taxes that would be required would be massive. The Social Security Expansion Act is a big step toward Bernie Sanders' mathematically impossible and economically inconceivable social agenda. And as I mentioned, we've covered the numbers here on the channel, and they are pretty pricey. As history repeatedly demonstrates, socialist governments depress economic output and co-sign everyone by the ruling elite to drastically lower standards of living. Now, here's the article's way that they are proposing that Social Security be preserved, strengthen it for workers and retired futurees. Let me know your thoughts if you agree with this article. Policymakers should preserve Social Security's original intent by gradually shifting toward a universal benefit. That would mean slowly ratcheting up benefits for lower earners and reducing benefits for higher earners, so that by the time that workers just entering the labor force today retire, they will receive the same flat Social Security benefit based on years of work instead of earnings, and it will keep more people out of poverty. Combining a universal benefit with other common sense changes like using a more accurate inflation index and increasing Social Security eligibility age and indexing it to life expectancy would make Social Security solvent for the long run and allow a roughly 20% reduction in Social Security tax rates to 10.1%. Now, researchers with the Penn-Wharton budget model analyzed a proposal similar to the Heritage Foundation's that would do a better job of targeting Social Security benefits. In addition to common sense changes to preserve Social Security's purpose and ensure its solvency, policymakers should incorporate a wealth-building option within Social Security. Workers should have the choice to put part of their Social Security taxes into an account that they own. That can generate large positive returns over time, and that can be passed to their families. Research by Heritage Foundation analysts shows that if an individual were able to put Social Security taxes into their own retirement accounts, workers at all income levels would have far more in retirement than Social Security would provide. A middle-income man, for example, would have 3 times as much income retirement for a personal account than from what Social Security would provide. Under this option, anyone who wants to remain in the current Social Security system without wealth-building accounts would be free to do so. Instead of raising taxes like Biden wants to do, but he's lying about it, or genuinely pledging to do nothing like Trump for political expediency, are there any adults in the room willing to have an honest look at badly needed reforms? Wow. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Now, whether you agree or disagree with this perspective, let me know in the comments down below. But one thing is for sure, and that is that reform is needed for Social Security. And like this article is saying, the facts, the data has been released that we've roughly got about 10 years to do so. Otherwise, everybody collecting Social Security is going to be in serious trouble, so there needs to be some type of reform. Now, in addition to that, a lot of people are in trouble right now because Social Security is something that they depend on, and it's just simply not keeping up with inflation. Now, to get the latest on some more benefits that they're saying are available to a lot of beneficiaries, be sure to check out this video right here, as we received an official statement from the IRS stating that there are literally millions of people that have missed out on stimulus checks, stimulus provisions, and funds to the tune of $1,200 and in some cases $7,000, and they have a limited amount of time to claim it to let the IRS know that they missed out on the money. And I don't want anybody on my channel to miss out, so please check out this video next. But as more information comes out on anything that could help out you and your family, I'll be sure to report it here on the channel. But with that being said, you guys, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.